Hey there, I'm Stephanie Clairmont. Welcome to the Relief Report. This is the show where we help you get back to feeling like your normal, beautiful self by overcoming and finding relief from digestive health issues related to irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and colitis, and whatever else you're dealing with, so you can get back to normal. Today in the show, I have a couple different headlines to hit up with you guys. The first is about IBS research and some dollars that are going in to help all of us with digestive health issues with IBS feel a lot better. And we're also going to talk about expanding your low FODMAP diet if you're someone who is restricting the food that you're eating right now, which so many of us do as we're trying to figure out, what's causing our symptoms, what's triggering us, and what's not, as well as, this is really interesting, microbiome testing. So, we've heard a lot over the last couple of years about how the bacteria that lives in our gut really relates to our digestive health issues and how that can really have a huge part in how you heal your gut. So we're going to talk about at-home microbiome testing. Is it all the rage? Is it, what's coming? Can we trust it? That kind of stuff. All right, so I can see that if I can get a thumbs up, I think I have a thumbs up. You guys can hear me and see me. I'm testing a new mic today, so my sound is a little bit better. And if you don't know me, my name is Stephanie Clairmont, and I am a registered dietitian as well as someone who's been diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome 10 years ago, handed a pamphlet, wished well on my way, and struggled for years and years before I used my super dietitian skills to figure out a plan that would help me and help all of my clients feel a heck of a lot better. So you are in the trusted hands of not just a dietitian, my friend, but someone who actually gets it. And so this show is just all about getting you feeling better. So let's dig in. I want to start with a research update that we have for more money for IBS research. Now, this is so good because we have some research on the low FODMAP diet. We have some research on, a couple of little things for IBS, but we really don't know a lot about it. And we really need more money coming into IBS so we can figure out, what's going on in the bowel and how we can get people a lot better. Now, in the Clarity program, I have pulled all of the strategies in the relief phase. There are 7 strategies to help you feel fantastic, but more literature, more research just helps us to feel better in the long term, right? All right, so before I head into the research, I just want to share with you, let me post the link actually here for you. We have released a new class, and the link is in the comments, called Identify Your Triggers, to help you get super clear on what is actually keeping you down and keeping you suffering with digestive health issues. You can click on the link there and sign up for, it's absolutely a free little mini class, a couple little 5-minute videos to help you see the overview of what you need to do, what you need to change so that you can actually identify those triggers and feel a lot better, get yourself feeling better. So let's talk about our research update. The first thing is a new research facility, the W.J. Henderson Center for Patient-Oriented Research, is opening at the Kingston Health Science Center in September. But what we've heard here is that there's a new study. This will be the largest study of bowel disease in Canada. I'm in Canada, for some of you that don't know. The study is called Imagine for Inflammation, Microbiome and Alimentation, Gastrointestinal, Neuropsychotic Effects. Packed title for that study, but it's called Imagine, and it's aimed to reflect the primary concerns faced by those of us with IBS and IBD, and it's a $25 million project looking to enroll 2,000 people across Canada with IBS and IBD. That is a huge study, and if you've ever looked at the research that kind of helps us identify what we should do for IBS and IBD, how we should feel better, they're very, very small studies, usually under 100 people. So to be able to sign up 2,000 people with digestive health issues, they're going to get a lot of data, and there's a lot we can learn from each other. That's how I started my, healing myself and feeling better and helping my clients is, reading everything that was out there, seeing how my clients were doing better and sharing that within my practice, within my strategies and my plan with others, because we can really learn by working with people. So 2,000 people in this study, that is so, so cool. So we will get those results a little while from now, but great to see that more money is being put into digestive health. If you're someone that's still struggling, this is really key for us to keep learning and keep implementing and adding to the plan, that you're following now. So the next thing that's quite interesting, and this microbiome testing. So we know that a UK-based company, Atlas Biomed, has released an at-home in your house microbiome testing kit. Very interested for anyone who's interested in learning more about the bacteria in their gut. And if you're in my Clarity program, or if you listen to this show a lot, you'll know that the gut bacteria has a huge role in a lot of different things, especially in our digestive health, and especially how you're experiencing any symptoms like gas, bloating, discomfort, pain, diarrhea or constipation. It has a huge role. So understanding the gut microbiome is incredible. So this test says you order the test, delivers in the mail. You actually take a stool sample, that's your poop, and you send it back to the lab. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks, they say, and then your results are uploaded online. The test says that they're going to look at DNA, actually RNA, to tell us about the microbiomes that exist in your gut, how they form disease, how the diet affects your gut bacteria, how your gut's processing vitamins and minerals. So interesting. So they say that the report from this test is actually going to show you, disease prevention, the microbiome diversity, food recommendations based on your microbiome, fiber needs for you, and then your microbiome types. That is so interesting, and I feel like so helpful. So the test promises to help individuals tailor their diet to optimize their health, which is crazy. But then we have a follow-up interview by Rob Knight, who's a leading microbiome researcher and professor at University of California, who states that one can realistically learn the following from the tests: a snapshot of how your microbiome compares to people living in different parts of the world, because in different parts of the world, right, guys, we have all different kinds of intake, all different kinds of food, all different kinds of environmental things that kind of relate to our system and the bacteria that lives in our gut, consuming different diets and living different lifestyles. So Rob Knight, a leading microbiome researcher, this is important, right? Because the field of microbiome, it's growing and growing and growing. So we're getting a researcher professor from University of California who says that's great, we can learn those things, but that this test is a little early according to the research, and it can't give you disease risk. We don't know we don't have that research to show which strains of bacteria in the gut are associated with which disease, like this causes this. We don't have that. So the disease risk factor, he's saying the science isn't there yet, and that ideally we need more long-term studies where people are enrolled before we have our digestive health issues, and then you get sick, and then we can predict, disease risk that way. But in regards to, the other components of that test, what Rob Knight is saying, what our microbiome researcher is saying, is that it's best to wait a little bit before investing money and spending money on this test, or even just kind of taking that research and taking the facts away from it, because, the research is still kind of out on the microbiome. Now, that said, this is cool that we have so much innovation in the microbiome area. So I want to just, take this research that we're seeing, take this story out there on this microbiome testing kit. And we have more little breath tests and home testing kits coming out now, which you'll start to see on the market in 2018, like this one, that are helping us kind of customize the approach to ourselves. So I love what this is telling us, because, it's telling us that the researchers are identifying that everyone is unique and different. And, one recommendation for one person might not actually work for another person. And that's what I've seen in my practice. That's exactly why I created the Clarity program, to help give you all the strategies that you can use in order to uniquely identify, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and get you back to feeling normal. Everyone is unique and different. And just downloading a food list on the internet is not going to help. Okay. It might get you like a little ways, but it can actually do more harm than do more help. So I want you to be really cautious when you go out in the world of the World Wide Web and look up, different kinds of things for IBS or IBD. It's always good to work with a dietitian. You're welcome to work with me and feel supported in the Clarity program, but it's always important that you work with your doctor and a dietitian to really get the best results for you and your body. And just walk away from this research and from this episode knowing that you are unique and different, and what works for someone is not going to work for you as well. There's some overlap, and it's why in the program, I support you with all the strategies, but then I also, offer some custom support and feedback and things like that to get you where you need to go. there's some problem solving that has to come into it. All right, now the last thing for today's episode is we like to kind of touch on the low FODMAP diet, and that's the big diet that's coming out into the IBS and digestive space. And if you don't know the low FODMAP diet, you can head to stephanieclairmont.com and read more about the low FODMAP diet and what it is. You can grab our Getting Started guide if you want to learn more about the low FODMAP diet. It's basically cutting out foods that have sugars in them that are really poorly digested and ferment in the gut and then cause that gas and bloating, discomfort, pain, and diarrhea. Eliminating them for a short period of time, 4 to 6 weeks, and then bringing them back into your diet one at a time to identify what works for you and what doesn't. And with my clients, a lot of them find that they can actually tolerate FODMAPs, but they need to identify which ones work for them and how much is too much. And that's kind of part of the process. So know that the low FODMAP diet is more than just a download. It's really a process of identifying, what's working for your body and what's not, important to follow with a dietitian. But what we wanted to talk about is how lately Monash is the university that founded the low FODMAP diet and does a lot of research in it, has a team dedicated to FODMAPs and supporting people with the low FODMAP diet. They've been publishing quite a little bit of research recently on their Twitter account as well as on their blog, just about expanding your diet. So firstly, when you follow a restrictive diet, gosh, it's so restrictive and can actually harm you. So you need to include as much variety as you possibly can. So if you're someone who's really restrictive right now, you need to really include as much as possibly can for your diet. So, they were talking about different kinds of carbs that you can have and different kinds of foods. So things like pomegranate, and you can actually have wheat bread and sweet corn and butternut squash and coconut and sourdough bread and snow peas and shredded coconut and sweet potato and even a chocolate chip cookie. So they were posting out in their Twitter account on their blog just that there's so much variety within the diet. And I think that's really important that as you're following a plan, as you're eating for good digestion, as maybe you're cutting out FODMAPs, as you're getting good food in your body and you're eliminating foods that might be potential triggers for you, if you're in that relief phase or that elimination phase, it's important, even if you're a picky eater, to include as much as you possibly can to make sure you get variety and nutrients and feel really good. A couple of my clients recently have told me about how, they went on the low FODMAP diet and they actually got worse and they got sicker, and their doctor told them to get off of it. And this, they had to kind of follow it in a way for a short period of time, but still eat a lot of variety. And what we do in the program, what we do in Clarity is really help you, identify what foods you can eat a variety, eat really good, add foods into your body that are good for digestion and really get you feeling well. And that's why it's not a good idea to do FODMAPs on your own or any kind of elimination diet. You really need to work within a system, within a plan, and with a dietitian. But Monash is really kind of pushing out there that you need to really have this variety. You need to really, have all the things that are in the low FODMAP diet and not just kind of pick and choose. Like, I don't like peppers and eggplant, so I'm only going to eat zucchini and green beans. Yikes. You need a variety. Okay, my friends? So if you're on a very restricted diet or if you're eliminating now, just remember to keep everything expansive. Add as much as you can. And if you need any help, I'm here for you. All right, I got your back. If you have any questions about the Clarity program, if me or my team can support you in any way and show up and help you through this to find that relief and get you back to normal, please post a comment here under this video or send us a message here on our Facebook page. You can also find out more about me and the program at stephanieclairmont.com. All right, my friends, you have a lovely day, and I will see you next week on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern for another edition of the Relief Report. All right, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will talk to you soon.